Okay, people, if it wasn't for that last page of Black Clover chapter 300, I would have said, fam, this is too depressing. I'm not even gonna lie, this chapter, and the last few chapters at that, if you add it all together, of Black Clover, have been pretty depressing, pretty dark, and in particular, for this being the big 300, this chapter we're talking about right here, chapter 300, Black Clover, it's kind of disappointing to a certain degree, and what I mean by that is not the events necessarily of the chapter, but I guess the expectation of what somebody would have for the big 300 of Black Clover. At the end of the day, yo, that's a major milestone. 300 chapters to have made it this far. I love to see it. I've been rooting for Yuki Tabata to win since the very jump of this manga. I have been like, yo, we gonna do it. It was a rough start, but we made it, fam. And all the way here to 300, it just kind of felt like, you know, standard chapter. Like, I guess, again, if it wasn't for that final page, it would have felt completely like, hey, there was no thought put into this is the big 300. Hopefully at some given point down the road within the next couple of weeks, unless Tabata takes a well-deserved break, we get some type of event for this, because yo, 300 chapters lasting and Shonen Jump, that manga be getting out of the door by chapter 10 all the way to chapter 300. That is a feat to celebrate. That is something that deserves recognition. Shonen Jump should have given them the cover for Black Clover 300. We should have got at the very least a colored page for chapter 300. So the fact that this was just kind of, again, not a run-of-the-mill chapter because, you know, big shit is going down, but ultimately it wasn't as eventful as I thought it would be. I was a little bit disappointed, but at the very least the flow of the story itself, because, you know, arbitrary number aside, because at the end of the day 300, yeah, big deal, but in terms of, you know, the story and what's going on, it's just another number, you know what I'm saying? And at the very least the story was moving, and we had some optimism at the very end, because I ain't gonna lie, I was just like, somebody get the rope. Shit was dark, but without further ado, people, let's talk a little bit of that Black Clover greatness.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, so the chapter opens up very dark. Gadjah is completely burnt the hell up. Basically, Gadjah used a spell that was at the cost of burning his own life. So yet again, like I said last time, I'm going to say it again, I will compare this to when Vegeta blew himself up against Majin Buu, basically, like, you know, using his life in order to try and stop the villain, and also it was to no avail. So it's very similar to that, because Gadjah's just there all burnt up looking like stone, and it's sad to a certain degree. Again, I'm not feeling like overly emotional or anything like that, but it is sad, the overall atmosphere of everything. Like, this chapter put into perspective, like, no, we're down bad, fam, over here. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same celebration that Magna just had recently or any of the other people. Like, no, we're getting our asses handed to us. And I'll be honest with you as well, this fight didn't feel the same this time around with Noelle versus Monica and Magicula, and I think a big part of that is because Magicula is out now. Prior to this one, you know, the first round last year that we got of just Noelle versus Monica, it was more eventful because it was a one-on-one, you know, kind of human versus human, even though Monica was a demon in and of herself. But ultimately, it was different. Like, this time around, following the ass-kicking of Monica, you know, Noelle just beating the dog tar out of her, which I loved that part of it. It ultimately just went into something else. So you can't even necessarily say that it was like, oh, that was round one, or that they even really had a fight, because that was Magicula inside of Monica. Now it's Magicula here, and throwing down and using all of her cursed magic that is just like, holy shit, overwhelming. And Magicula is like, that was magnificent, human, but reveals that she has a very high speed recovery, cursed energy or cursed power. So basically, yeah, you're gonna have to do something so strong, so immensely quick to override that spell that she has that just constantly keeps on recovering, which I think that's gonna be par for the course with all of the Dark Triad, because we've seen with Dante how many times this dude regenerated, that even Jack the Ripper had to come and, you know, chop him up yet again after he was defeated by Magna and shit like that. So it seems like probably all of them. I can't remember, has Xenon showcased the ability to regenerate yet or not, but he more than likely can as well. If like Magicula and Vonica, seemingly, well, Magicula's doing it, and probably Vonica could have done it as well. They probably all have that capability. Then it looked like I was a little bit confused on this part, forgive me. Undine started like looking shocked to see Gadjah like that, and then it almost looked like Undine was melting or incapable of moving or something like that. I was kind of confused there. Maybe it was just the art arc, but to me it looked like Undine was being undone as a spell or some shit. I was just kind of like, what the hell is going on here? Just everybody's getting clapped. And Magicula says this is the same as the last fight. You can't use Saint Stage power at all. Which, again, no, this is not the same as the last fight. If she's referring to last year's encounter between Noelle and Vonica, no, you weren't around. So you just need to stop right there, okay? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, Noelle is drained and shit like that, which I'm still gonna give props to Noelle. The reason I'm gonna give props to Noelle amongst all of this is because realistically, who she got backing her? She got, you know, I guess she got some captains, Charlotte and Rill, but they really haven't done much and haven't really helped much in the last, I don't know, bajillion chapters to, you know, help out the cause. They tried, but they really been just stuck. Just been really Noelle leading the charge. Gadjah just tried something and he got dusted, and we know at the end of the day, him and his people, they really haven't been much help. So yeah, it's been really Noelle holding it down. So I'm still gonna give props to Noelle, despite the fact that she's really at a tough spot with her back against the wall. She's still doing it damn near by herself because everybody else is just fucking useless in this fight right now. Because even Magicula's like, yeah, no, this time it's really over. We got a shot of Gadjah dead there. We got a shot of Charlotte and Rill down and out, can't move. And we get Undine with like her back turned, or just, again, I don't know what the hell happened to Undine. Like, was she undone? Can she not move up from the shock of losing Gadjah? Was it the decay spell that is making Undine decay there? And you see just like all these monsters surrounding Noelle all by herself. Very scary stuff, to be honest with you. Like, again, I gotta keep saying Noelle got heart, because if it was another one, she probably, or if it was even like older Noelle back in the day, you know, early beginning, she probably would have just got down to her knees and started crying. Like, she probably would have just been like, I can't do this. But seeing her still stand up to this monster, the face of the beast, like nothing, Noelle's a beast, man. Noelle is a monster for even attempting this. And Noelle basically says, no, not yet, and goes back into her Valkyrie armor. I mean, it's not the Saint Stage dive or anything like that, but it's still, you know, some type of power, right? She ain't giving it up. And I love how Magicula is just so dumbfounded on the, and you know, we've seen this before in different series of villains, that it doesn't compute to them the not giving up idea. Like, to Magicula is like, oh, that's so fascinating. It's almost like rich people that don't understand, like, when people that don't have riches, like how they move and how they maneuver and how they think and shit like that. Magicula is just fascinated, like, so wait a minute, hold on, let me get this straight. You know you can't win, but you still won't give up. You still have this thing called hope. Like, what is that? I'm so confused right now. Because she even goes down the row of like, Aesir fought for the love of her kids. This guy Gadjah fought for the loyalty of his queen. And you fight for hope, which doesn't exist, which kind of make me wonder, why would you say hope doesn't exist? Like, does the way Magicula think, is it that like life is, you know, a set course, there is no hope, because hope would be wishing for something that's never gonna happen? Or maybe it's just like you're that damn cocky, you're that damn monstrously powerful that you're like, oh yeah, I don't understand why you're believing in hope or having hope. Hope means that there's a possibility. There ain't no possibility, fam. You're done. You're kapoots. I'm gonna take you out. And once again, Noelle, she gets ready. She wants to give up. She's there talking to herself. Like, really awesome little page of just like non-stop text of Noelle thinking to herself, but she won't. This is all the character development throughout the entirety 300 chapters of Black Clover for Noelle has amounted to this, that she's in the face of the impossible, the inevitable, almost, you could argue, and she still stands strong there with the, you know, barely any power, using her just base Valkyrie armor at this point, and still standing like, no, I'm not running away, I'm not cowering down. That's honestly, if you would argue anything, that's almost the epitome of being a Black Bull. You know, Black Bulls from the very beginning of the series, they were shitted on for this, that, and the third, but, you know, just standing strong, being tough, being, you know, a real one is a Black Bull. And also, she even recites one of Asta's catchphrases, you know, his main line, his magic, so to speak, is not giving up. And her saying she's not giving up, I ain't gonna lie, it was just, I guess that would be the best thing about this being 300, it coming full circle, is using that message. Because again, like I started off this video, I wasn't impressed for this being the big 300. Like, if it was like a power up, maybe I would have said, okay, at the very least, we got cool new transformation as a celebration for 300. We didn't get color pages or anything. So at the very least, using the integral message of Black Clover of not giving up, of that being your superpower, Noelle realizing that was dope. And what I mean by realizing that, like, now, you know, it all coming full circle. She's had that for a little bit of time. And with all that being said, Magicula's still like, what are you talking about? I don't fucking understand shit you say. And Magicula activates Exploding Life on Loro Pechica, which basically is like a detonation. She's planning on detonating Loro Pechica, that is going to level out and destroy and kill every human being in the castle, which would ultimately resurrect Magicula to their full form, full capabilities, which I'm still very curious. And I guess we might not see it of what Magicula 100% would look like and what the power would be like. Because again, in order for Magicula to fully materialize in this fashion, not coming through the gate, but actually coming through, like, you know, the this ritual and shit like that. All of these people need to die. I am not in a million years gonna think that Noelle's gonna die, for example, or maybe Lord of Pachika could have died, but now that Gadjah died, I don't see anybody else dying for a little bit of time. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna see full Magicula, but it would have been interesting. I would have loved to see, like, okay, does anybody have the power? Like maybe Yami might have been able to with a little bit of help or something, but yeah, these demons are too damn strong that probably you gotta kill Magicula before Magicula can fully materialize, because if we can't rock with Magicula now, if Magicula got us down bad right now and they're only what, a third of the way there, like yeah, there's no way we're gonna be able to tango with them at all if they were full, which again makes me wonder if Lucifero down the road is able to come through. Like there's still a lot more strength out there and a lot more obstacles that if Black Clover wants to after this arc, it could still keep going, or this arc could keep manifesting into something different, because again, the power to fight these devils, like we're trying to stop them just from getting to that ultimate power, because we can't fuck with them right now. And then at the very last desperate moment, as Noelle is reaching out like, no, don't, our boy shows up about freaking time. He enters the scene. I ain't gonna lie though, because Asta showed up and it felt really good to see, like, yo, because this was depressing. 300 dawned on me like, no, this shit is depressing at this point. It's gotten to a point of like, come on fam, we need a win or something. Like we're down bad at this point. And Asta showing up, it was a dope feeling. It went through good, because Asta's like, dang, made it just in time. We saw each other just fine, right, Noelle? And Noelle, as she's teary-eyed, says, is not just fine, dorkster. So like, you know, a very needed moment for Noelle. Personally, I wish to a certain degree that it would have been Noelle. And I said this a few chapters ago, but it just would have felt like full circle. Magicula was responsible for the death of their mother, Aesir. You know, Vonica, possessed with Magicula back in the past, was the ones that attacked them when they were children. I really would have wished and would have liked for Noelle to show up. Now, granted, he still could. Like, this doesn't mean shit just because Asta's here. And even if Asta goes into his ultimate transformation, it doesn't mean necessarily that, okay, they can take out Magicula right there. It's, you know, completely done. But it kind of lends itself right now where we're at that, okay, maybe it's going to be Asta and Noelle versus Magicula to wrap this whole fight up against this beast. And I love too, again, how it went full circle of Noelle realizing and remembering like, oh shit, that not giving up slogan, that's Asta's. That's where I learned it from. So it was nice and clear as day, like, you know, the pairing at the end of this whole, it's gonna be Noelle x Asta. Like, come on now, like with all of his harem and everything, like that's all cool, fine and dandy, but it's gonna be Noelle, like clear as day. And I love Magicula's expression at the end of the chapter, the last panels, like, what is that human? Like, what is going on? Because Asta canceled out, you know, the detonation magic that was supposed to happen with Lord Pachika. Magicula's like, Nani sore? Although technically, how could he? Because like Asta's able to cancel out magic, but can he cancel out a curse? Like, because if not, he would have been able to just hit Lord of Pachika on the stomach and the curse would go away. So kind of curious. I guess maybe because the detonation itself was a spell, so he was able to cancel that out. But yeah, it seems as though we're gonna have Asta and Noelle versus Magicula next chapter. But I still gotta say, I do hope that at some given point Noelle gets involved in this fight. Him and his sister are the ones I feel should take out Magicula, because it goes full circle with their mother. Maybe it still might happen, because especially if Magicula is somehow able to get one step closer to being perfect, Asta right now, let's just say he goes into his full form, his new devil form and shit like that, he might be able to tango with Magicula. Magicula gets one up again, then we're gonna need even more help, and that would be crazy of Asta, Noelle, and Noelle to take out Magicula. But we gotta wait and see, because we're right now just like, oh, Asta's on the scene. And with all that being said, again, it was an okay chapter for Black Clover. I like the, you know, Asta's return. I like the not giving up, but like I started this video, I gotta say, for chapter 300, I was hoping for more, because it's a huge accomplishment for a series like Black Clover that everybody doubted, everybody shitted on it, everybody said like, oh, it's not gonna last, oh, it's a ripoff of this, that, and the third. Like, we all had our doubts at some given point. A lot of people are still doubting it. For it to have arrived at chapter 300, I hoped for a bigger celebration, and like, it was cool that at the very least Asta arrived for the big chapter 300. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. How did you feel about this chapter? Did it feel depressing to you up until the end when Asta showed up, of like, damn, just everybody, you know, Gadjah's dead, Noelle's completely by herself? Were you impressed with Noelle standing firm on her own 10 toes down against Magicula, the face of this beast? And how did you feel about Asta showing up in general and getting ready to go at it with Magicula? Do you feel as though it should have been Noelle? Again, I'm a little iffy on certain aspects of the chapter, but overall still solid stuff. We're still advancing, and yeah, hopefully we get the big 300 celebration, maybe just delayed a few chapters, like chapter 302 will be in celebration of over 300, you know, something like that. I don't freaking know. And your overall thoughts and expectations notifications with Black Clover chapter 301 and beyond. Looking forward to seeing where this goes. I think Asta got his work cut out for him though, because just because you saved Lord of Majika from blowing herself up right then and there, Majika is a beast right now and has a lot of crazy curse techniques that is almost broken, you could say. So we'll see how it goes. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And yo, regardless of what, we may have not got big celebratory 300, but shout outs to Black Clover manga, 300 chapters deep. Let's go for 300 more, baby. Why not? Have an awesome one.
So just go to